sports fans. This is Robert with WTP Sports News here live on this Tuesday evening, ready for another edition of Across the Board. Man, listen, the number one and number two ranked teams going into the season are no longer in the top 25. Can you believe that? I sure as hell can't, because one of them was my Texas Longhorns. Also, we got our man SEC Sean, who's going to give us his power rankings for the SEC. And we're going to also talk about the NFL pays no taxes. Is that true? Is that real? Is that what's happening? We're going to dive into that and find out what's happening. We got our man FanDuel Zaya of the FanDuel Zaya podcast here with us tonight. How you feeling, FanDuel Zaya?
Man, I'm good, man. I'm happy that we see all y'all, man. I'm happy to see SEC Sean on the stream. We told y'all about the situation he was going through, I was keeping him in my prayers. I know y'all were too, so it's just good to see all y'all, man. When God put that breath in your lungs, all you gotta do is just, keep one foot in front of the other and keep your head up. But y'all know what it is. We back with another banger.
We also got our man Post Game at the Post Game 86 podcast. How you feeling this evening, Post Game?
Hey, I feel marvelous, man. How y'all doing?
Oh, I'm good, bro.
I don't know how I like that follow through, Post, man. I'm still waiting to see it for real, man.
No, that's just so I can fit the screen. The real one is different.
I feel you.
And we also got our man SEC Sean. We are thrilled to have him with us here this evening. Sean, how you feeling this evening, bro? Prayers and condolences go out to you. How you feeling?
Oh man, we're feeling good. We been a little rough, but we all got to deal with it at some point, and you just got to power through. And I appreciate all the thoughts and prayers coming out of everybody out there. And I needed this podcast more than anybody probably knew.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here with us this evening. Hopefully we can get Post Game back in here. I think he had to jump off for a quick second. Well, let's go ahead and get into some of the questions that's out there that we have in the chat. How damaging was Penn State's loss to UCLA as it relates to the strength of the Big Ten Conference? How do y'all feel about that? Did it damage the Big Ten Conference, their strength, with UCLA beating Penn State this past Saturday?
I mean, I don't think there's any question it damaged the strength. I mean, the Big Ten was 4 or 5, maybe at the beginning of the year. Everybody thought Ohio State, Oregon, see what you got from Indiana, but they look legit. Michigan, Michigan's Michigan, and then Penn State. And now Penn State's gone. So now you're down to 4 teams that are, it had to hurt the conference strengths. I mean, the Big Ten was always really top heavy anyway, but now you just lost one of your top heavy teams. So that's my take on it.
What you think, Post?
No question about it. Penn State was ranked second. Some analysts had Penn State 1 before the season started, the preseason polls. Me personally, I was never a believer. If you look back at some of our old podcasts, I just didn't believe in James Franklin. I didn't believe in their quarterback. But the damage is done. But with Penn State being out of it, that leaves you with Ohio State, Indiana, Oregon, Michigan, and possibly Illinois. So the Big Ten is still strong at the top, but having Penn State fall off like they've done, It definitely has done some damage to the conference.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's done some damage to the strength of the conference. But Penn State got time to get back up there, man, if they can play good ball and not allow the Oregon and UCLA game beat them a third and a fourth time, man. I think they got to get things corrected, get that game out of their head so that they can move forward. But I also think that Illinois stumping that they took to Indiana sort of hurt as well. But I definitely agree that UCLA, being a bottom dweller in the Big Ten, putting up as many points as they put up on Penn State really does hurt the Big Ten's strength. But you know the big heavy hitters are still there up at the top of a conference that I believe, like SEC Sean said, is pretty top heavy. And you know who always leads that march is either Ohio State or Michigan. But thank God Oregon is there as well.
Uh, respectfully, I think y'all are wrong. Um, so this is my thing. Did we say this when Tennessee lost to Arkansas last year? No. But one thing I think is the product of what we're seeing is with NIL is that a lot of these bottom feeding teams, they got like real quarterbacks. These is quarterbacks you wouldn't see out of Arkansas or out of UCLA. Like y'all, we could say what we want to say about Nico, but Nico is a former 5-star quarterback. He wouldn't be at UCLA in no other year before NIL. He would probably be waiting his turn, to play at one of these major programs before NIL. So I don't think it hurts the actual strength of the Big Ten. If anything, it makes it look better because now what you see is the people that they call bottom dwellers in the Big Ten, the UCLAs, the teams like that can't win, the Northwesterns, even if it was a Northwestern that could possibly upset a Michigan team this week. We don't sit there and turn our head when Arkansas give somebody a good game because we know what Taylor Green is, as a player. And I just think you seeing dudes that was high caliber. In this case, you're seeing a dude that was such a highly rated recruit that shouldn't be playing at the program that he's playing at, and he had a monster game. And when you talk about recruiting rankings from high school, when you talk about 5-star dudes, they're 5 stars because when they're coming out, you be like, that dude, when he gets to the next level, he's going to be able to affect the game and possibly win one. And that's one that he won. So I think it's more of a testament to where NIL sent it, honestly. I don't think it damaged. Now, it did hurt us in the way of it might have dropped us extra team out of the playoff if some things shake a certain way. But as far as the strength, I think that made the strength look better.
Good argument. Good argument. Now that Texas has no margin for error on their remaining schedule, do you think they will play much better or they have many things to fix to win out?
We'll let both of y'all SEC guys go last. I'll go first. Post. I don't think the SEC is as top heavy as the Big Ten, but I think they're like a lot of really good teams. That's not necessarily I would consider tier 1 teams. I think they might have one, maybe 2 teams that could compete with tier 1 teams across the country. But the rest, I would categorize them all as just really, really good teams. So, I mean, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for Texas because, like, just the schedule alone, I think everybody has the same equal amount of talent on their rosters. So, I mean, if you don't bring your A game every week from here on out, and that's just tough to do for kids that's 18 through 22. I just don't see nobody in the country that, unless you just got superior talent than everybody you're facing week in and week out. I just don't see how you could just win out. You know what I mean? I just really don't see it, especially with that schedule that they're playing. And y'all know, I think it was JoJo that sent it in the chat earlier. He sent that video of Sark saying you go to Ohio State and to the swamp on the road your first 4 or 5 games, and you see the outcome of the rest of the country, the whole other 135 teams. What would the outcome be for them? And I kind of think he had a point there, because I think 100 of them lose, at least minimum.
Yeah, Coach Sark made a really good point on that. Um, I'm going to say, because I remember before the season started, one of my concerns about Texas was that offensive line. And Sark may have dropped the ball as far as his offensive line went. I think he had a lot of faith in what he had instead of going to the portal and getting some guys for that offensive line. Um, I think Texas is a good team. Do they have some flaws? Absolutely. Do they have some talent? You bet. But in my opinion, the SEC is just so strong. Like week in and week out, you guys are going to punish each other. Uh, I don't think Texas can win out. Now, with that being said, going through this gauntlet this season, I think next season Texas will be a top 14. But this season, the SEC is just so strong, in my opinion. I don't know if y'all can rebound. But if y'all do go undefeated, that's going to be a hell of a story for the college football season. But man, the conference is just too strong, man.
I don't think Texas wins out. Um, there's serious issues on that team. The offensive line is the most glaring I see. But following up the offensive line, and it's probably tied together, they can't run the ball. I mean, I think their 2 running backs against Florida had 11 yards total. Arch had 40 or 50. He was the leading rusher. That's not going to get it done. Because then you can't run the ball. You're putting all that pressure on the young Arch Manning, who's still learning college football. That's putting a lot on a kid, even at Ohio State or at the Swamp or hell at Kentucky. That's a lot on a kid. You're telling him, here, go win us the game. You're putting a lot on him. The defense, I think, is still good, but I don't see Texas winning out. I just think there's too many issues there for them to win out. Plus, they can't win out because then they beat my Aggies. So we can't have that.
I know that's right. Man, as a Texas fan, man, how much I love my Longhorns, I had to agree with y'all, man. It's going to be very, very difficult. I'm not expecting us to win out. I'm not going to sit here and tell y'all we're going to win out. I'm not going to tell you that we good enough to win out. With offensive line woes and us not having a running game to the point that I thought we was going to have, and we had 11 carries for 15 yards against, or it might have been 15 carries for 11 yards, either vice versa, or it was not good. That's all we know is it was not good. I don't think Trey Wisener was 100% healthy, man. He probably shouldn't have been out there on the field. We probably should have went with those other running backs. I think we should have definitely gave Jared Gibson and the young boy James Simon some run, because we couldn't get nothing going. But then when you fall behind 19-7, then you really get into passing, getting pass happy, especially when you can't stop the other team's run. I think there's some teams that they're going to be able to beat, even though they have these issues. But when they face Georgia, Texas A&M, those 2 games are the 2 games that worry me. I'm not so worried about Oklahoma this week, because Oklahoma got the same issues Texas got. Really good defense, but they can't run the football, and their offensive line stinks. But in this case, I think Texas might have maybe a better throwing quarterback than what Oklahoma has. So we'll see how this thing turns out. But it's going to be tough for them to run the table and beat with this team, beat a Texas A&M and a Georgia team, especially when you got to go to Athens. And I would hate for Texas A&M to come and beat us in Austin and DKR, but it's very, very likely. Very likely. Our man Parlay Poe Blitzberg, he said both Texas and Penn State were 1-2 in the polls. Has this ever happened where 1 and 2 were unranked after 6 weeks?
Yeah, not to my knowledge. Maybe some of y'all have walked this earth a little longer than I have, but in my lifetime, I don't think it's ever happened. Maybe y'all know better, but I definitely never saw. Excuse me, still a little bit under the weather, but I've never saw a scenario where 1 and 2 preseason ranked were out of the rankings by week 6. So maybe y'all know something I don't know, but I've never saw it.
So I mean, I'll be watching podcasts all day on YouTube. I literally walk around the building. You know I do, Rob. I walk around the building listening to podcasts all day. And I've heard of one person say this happened in 68. And I did a little bit of research, and it was North Carolina, I want to say Clemson. And I don't know what week this happened, but it looked like it could have been true because by week 6 at least, because they both ended up like 6-4 and like 5-7 or something. It was something crazy. It was like 5-5 or something, 6-4. So that's I wasn't alive though, so I can't merch that. You know what I mean? As the kids say, they say merch. You know what I mean? I don't. Merch means stamp it. You feel me? I guess nowadays, but can't merch that. You know what I mean? But that's what I heard.
Yeah, I don't know about. I don't think it's ever happened in 6 weeks. I know the last time I saw that 2 top 10 teams lost and fell out of the rankings was 89, I think. Let me look. 86. And that was the last time 2 top 10 teams lost and then fell completely out of the rankings. And that was number 8 Tennessee and number 10 Ohio State. But that's the closest I found. I haven't found 1 and 2 both unranked. Zay might be right. It could be back in the 60s or 50s, but I haven't been able to find that yet.
Yeah, I've never heard of it. Can't even believe it happened. But I guess it's always a time for everything. And we know for a fact, in 2025, the number 1 and number 2 ranked team after 6 weeks is no longer in the top 25. Do y'all think that they should be out of the top 25 though?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, listen. Have y'all seen UCLA before this past weekend? That is that is an awful football team, bro. Like awful. But I want to say it was either post game or po. I don't remember exactly which one, but I was like, be careful what you wish for. Oh, it might have been about Billy Napier getting fired. I said, be careful what you wish for about Napier being fired before they get to Texas, because some reason when a coach gets fired, it injects energy into the program. And that's what I think we really saw for real. Dudes just playing hard because their coach got fired.
Wasn't that their first game since Deshaun got fired?
I believe so. I
thought so too.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. I don't know. That's just crazy how it worked.
It's funny. I think it was last week, one of our podcasts, I joked and said, can y'all imagine UCLA beating Penn State and what the reaction would be? Y'all said no way, and it happened. I can't see Penn State being ranked. I think if anybody has a case, and I don't think they really have a case, but if any hold
I'll jump in while he's knocked off. I don't see Penn State being ranked, but I think Texas would have a claim to maybe sit at 25.
Yeah.
That's only because first loss, we all know where that was. Second loss, you were on the road against a really talented SEC Florida team. It's not like you were on the road and lost to Kentucky. If they'd have lost to Kentucky, yeah, unranked. I could make a claim for Texas to still be in that 23 to 25 range, though.
Yeah. Hey, and I'm sorry, before you get cut back in post game, I wonder if post game really believed that in his head, because that was some blasphemous stuff to say. And I was the first one to say something, bro. And he low key did call. I feel like he really. Hey, listen, I don't think it's a comment really ever made that's not like a part of that person don't feel like it could be true. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead, post.
No, it was really a joke. I thought Penn State would go on the road and punish UCLA and get back on track. Now they're bleeding so bad that they need a win or they're going to bleed out. They're probably going to lose their coach. But I think you can make a going on the road, losing to Ohio State, nothing to be ashamed of. Losing to Florida in the swamp, nothing to be ashamed of. Lagway played well. They got a receiver back who went off. So I think you can make a slight case for Texas, 25, 24, somewhere in that range. But Penn State, absolutely not.
Yeah, I feel like had Texas had played a little bit more physical in that game and made it look like they didn't just get freaking pushed around, maybe the voters would have said, yeah, this Texas team can stay in the top 25 because they played physical. They got punched in the mouth, but they also punched Florida in the mouth. That wasn't the case in that game, man. Florida's offensive line and defensive line totally pushed Texas all around the field, man, and totally dominated Texas. Even though when you look at that game and you see Florida doing all the stuff they did to Texas, Texas still had a couple of plays here or there. If they would have made, they probably would have been winning that game when really they got totally dominated, which would have been one of those games where if Florida had a loss, you would have been like, man, they totally dominated this game, but ended up losing. And I think it had Texas played a little bit more physical, they probably would have stayed in the top 25 because I think the voters would have been like, they got punched in the mouth and they punched back. So it was just a physical game, and DJ Lagway was clicking, and they pulled out the win. But that 29-21 score really didn't tell the story because Florida just totally dominated Texas out there. Now Texas is going to have to rebound against this. Is Oklahoma still number 5?
They're 6.
6. So they're going to have to rebound and play really well against this Oklahoma team, even though they're playing probably without John Mateer. They're going to have to go out there and have a good showing if they think they're going to get back in the top 25 next week. But they're going to have to go out there and have a good showing. They got to win, though. Now, if they lose, they definitely get back in the top 25. But I think eventually they'll get back in there. They got to really, really fight hard in order to get back in to that top 11 so that they can secure themselves a spot in the college football playoffs. They got a mountain to climb for sure.
Yeah, all words to on Mateer that he pushing. He pushing for
Yeah,
that game next week. So I
yeah,
hope he can go. Really, we all want to see that. I think.
yeah. I mean, anytime you got a rivalry game, you transfer to a school that got a rivalry game like that, you want to play in it, man. And you're gonna do everything you can to get out there. The thing I don't want to happen though is he get out there and he's not 100% healthy with that offensive line, and they decide they got to run him, or they decide, he's dropping back the pass and he mess around and get injured even worse than what he is right now because their offensive line is not good. And I'm telling you, this rivalry game is one of those vicious rivalry games where they're not going to be pulling no punches. They're going to be trying to go out there to tear each other's heads off. Is there really a SEC bias, or has the SEC earned their reputation as one of the top football conferences in the country? We had this debate in our chat all the time, but I think it's just for shits and giggles. But I wanted to put the question out there anyway to get y'all's thoughts on it.
All right. Well, I guess I'll start. Man, y'all know it's the SEC bias, man. How many teams? How many teams the SEC got in the top 25? You know, maybe like nine right now, maybe eight, maybe nine. I think because Texas lost. Uh, it's 16 teams in the league. You think 70% of the teams in the league is the best teams in the country? Absolutely not. That's why I be feeling like, man, we need like a challenge, like on the basketball tip, how they do it, in college basketball. We just need a challenge, man. You got to put good on good, and it need to be some type of like, oh, this won't hurt you. Maybe it will, but I mean, I feel like it shouldn't hurt if you gonna do it with the two best conferences that you feel like, and you gonna put up the best team against the best teams. It shouldn't hurt you because we have to get to the bottom of this question, man. This question has been going on for a year. It's never gonna be solved until it's played on the field. It's no way we're gonna possibly be able to solve it because everybody across the board gonna have valid points, and that's just the truth about it. No. Anytime we talk about this, I'm not gonna act like you ain't got some valid points because you be having some valid points. But I feel like I got valid points on my side too, and we gonna rock with who we rock with. We gonna rock with our side. So you know, it just won't be solved though. But it's a fun thing to talk about. That's for sure.
Yeah, we let you SEC guys go last, of course. Uh, is there a SEC bias in the media? Yes. Uh, is the SEC still good? Yes. And I think about the SEC, with Bama and Georgia, they've been dominating for years, especially during the Saban era. LSU. So I get it. I get why, the SEC is so prominent and why the media favors the SEC. It's just some really good football. I think that is starting to change with the NIL and transfer portal, making it more balanced across the board. But that doesn't mean the Big Ten isn't great. They just went back to back, like Drake said, back to back natties. So is there bias? Yes. Is the SEC great? Yes. But the Big Ten is there right there too.
Yeah. I'll let you go last, Sean. I'll go real quick. I think that there's definitely bias. I mean, I remember last year looking at Missouri being ranked, and I knew I was like, man, this Missouri team is as good as their ranking is. And I said their schedule is set to where this team can mess around and be 10-2, 11-1. Thank God it didn't happen though. And they'll mess around and get in the college football playoffs and get stumped because they really weren't that good. But luckily, some teams went and busted their butts up, and they weren't anywhere in there. So I was glad about that. So I thought that was definitely some bias having Missouri ranked that high. But then I have to look at this right now. You got a 2-loss Texas team who lost to a very good Florida team on the road and the number 1 team in the country. And they are out of the top 25, which means maybe there isn't as much bias as we think.
Yeah, but them rankings, we can misjudge rankings, and I ain't listen. Everybody that's watching, I'm not defending the SEC. Y'all know I'm Big Ten. We only gonna play like that, but you can misjudge preseason rankings. That's why I don't like the preseason rankings. I think it's misjudged every year. Every year, I think it's wrong. I be looking at it like, bro, what? Like. No, I know you the only one that can talk bad about your Longhorns, man, but I gotta say what's on my mind. You feel me?
Yeah, go ahead.
I looked at Arch and SEC Sean can agree with me. We never seen this what they calling this what's the word I'm looking for? SEC
Generational.
Sean? Generational. I've never seen this generational dude they was talking about. You know what I mean? And leading up to the game, we was having fireworks. You posting down on campus with the Texas gear on, talking crazy, talking crazy. But listen, I love it. But I've never seen this dude we was talking about, and the media was pumping him up. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you can misjudge preseason rankings, bro, and that's why I've never been a fan of them ever. I think it should always be after week 4, week 5.
Okay, before I answer that question, I'm gonna go back to what Zay was saying. With the era we're in with transfer portal and NIL, preseason rankings mean nothing. A&M had no explosive offense last year. We started the season preseason 23. Look at our offense now because of the transfer portal. You just don't know how those transfers are going to fit. So preseason rankings are useless. They're fun to talk about, but you're going to tell me that right now Texas A&M is the 23rd best team in the country? No. Mm-mm. And that's where we were preseason. So is there SEC bias? Yes. Is the SEC deserving of the bias? To an extent. We had a run. Poe said it. Bama, Saban, Georgia, LSU, just winning. National title.
Auburn, throw Auburn in there.
Auburn. Then Clemson jumped in from the ACC, a couple, but whatever. But it was the SEC was dominating the landscape of college football. The Big Ten's won the last 2. Some of the bias is shifting that way. But it was earned during those years of winning all the national titles back to back to back to back. It was an earned bias. It's a little gone on a little too far now. I still think it exists, but it's not really, something that's that big of a deal in my mind. Even being an SEC guy, it doesn't really bother me that much. I know it exists. I deal with it all the time. But I think it was earned. And now it's the Big Ten's turn to try to earn it to swing back the other way. And they've done that the last 2 years. What happens at the end of this year? Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, Jet Light, we'll get to your comment, and Consto, we'll get to your question. Jet Light said, Saban had a run, nobody else. Y'all got it, though. And he's laughing out loud. And he said, NIL is showing true colors. I think NIL is really helping the game of college football. Even though a lot of people got their knocks on it, NIL and the transfer portal, man, has really made college football a lot more interesting, in my opinion.
Yeah, I want to comment. Jet, that's my big bro. Kev, you a homer.
Hold on, wait. So that's the one who just beat my team in fantasy football?
Yeah, that's Junior, man.
Oh, man, listen, man. You lucky Xavier Worthy.
That's the Kramers. Or I think his name is the Kramers.
Lucky Xavier Worthy didn't get off, bro.
But I do want to say one thing about the SEC. I want to say it's maybe 13, maybe 14 since 2000. There's 3 other major conferences. So, I mean, we got to call it what it is. They have, and Saban got what, 7 of them? I think half. It is what it is. They had Saban. I mean, Saban was SEC. I mean, we got to call a spade still. You know, we can't play one side and then not look at the other side and talk about this and that and other thing. We got to give them their facts too, you know. And the facts is it's 14 since 2000, you know, and it's 3 other major conferences. So I'm gonna give them that credit, but I still feel like how I've always said, and this is unfair. This is so unfair. If Saban wasn't there, we know Saban was there, but this is why I say it's unfair. If Saban was not there, it wouldn't have been that goddamn 14. Nobody could convince me of that. You know what I'm saying? Saban we just seen something that we probably won't see unless Ohio State can do it right now. We probably won't see it for another 40 years. If we don't do a dynasty now, we probably won't see it for another 30, 40 years. I'm telling you, this is not something you see. You don't see this often in sports, period. We've seen it with Patty Mahomes in the NFL. You know, they kind of did a little dynasty, but that wasn't even to the strength of what Saban did, you know? So you just don't, I mean, you've seen it with Brady, I guess, but Brady jumped teams. So well, he won one somewhere else.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, my Buccaneers. I'm sorry. He won one with my Buccaneers. Let me throw that in there.
We was gonna let you get that off too. What teams do you think will be the ones who land in those top 4 spots in the CFP? Looking at what you see right now, who do you think is going to secure those top?
Oh, hold on. Can we tap
missed
into yeah, can we let's tap into Kevin Constance.
Hold on, real quick, Zay. Real quick. It's since 2000. If you add the current teams in the conferences, the SEC has 16 since 2000.
That don't count because you taking
I know
away.
because you're Oklahoma and Texas,
Yeah, you taking
Right.
away from.
but you still got 14, and you did go 7 in a row.
Yeah, but the Big 12 on them. You know what I'm saying?
Right now.
No, I'm saying they own them national championships. If you go to a Big 12 headquarter, that's for
Right,
Big 12.
right.
You
No,
know,
that's what I'm
we
saying.
can't do that. Yeah,
You can't do it, but I'm saying that's just what if you lay it out by now. But
Yeah,
it's 14.
Yeah. Well, let's tackle Kevin Constance's question. Do you think Notre Dame can still make the playoffs? I think we've talked about this quite a bit. What y'all think? Y'all think that Notre Dame can still make the playoffs?
We're gonna let Post go last. Go ahead, Sean.
Yes, I do. 9 and I mean they'll be 10-2. Losses to arguably, at least right now, 2 top 5 teams. I mean, at that point, the biggest question is Michigan 10-2 and is Notre Dame 10-2, and who gets the nod? I mean, for Michigan to be 10-2, wouldn't they need to? They could lose to Ohio State because they've only got 1 loss, right? Michigan only has 1 loss.
Yeah, they only got 1 loss, but go ahead.
But if they run out and lose to Ohio State and go 10-2, and Notre Dame's 10-2, now you've got that. Notre Dame's kind of like a bid stealer, which is mostly going to steal one from the SEC, probably. But I think Notre Dame gets in if they run the table. I think if they go 10-2, I don't think anybody leaves. I don't think the committee leaves Notre Dame out.
Yeah, if they run the table, I'm in agreement. I think the brand is the brand. You know, I think the college football playoff would be way better with them gold helmets. You know, them shiny gold helmets in it anyway. But now if they lose, you know, they're done. It's just a simple fact about it that it is. And they lost to, like you said, Sean, 2 teams that's firmly positioned in the top 10 right now. They got a big game this week against NC State. Then I think, if I'm not mistaken, next week is USC. And I think they got one more other game that's scary a Navy game that now it's like will Marcus Freeman lose a game like that? But I still think they got 3 run-ins to get tested before we could just automatically confirm that they're going to run the table. Uh, but it's without a doubt they control their own destiny in my opinion. Now they're they might not be they might be somewhere between 9 and 11, but that don't even matter. It don't matter where they land. They just got to win, and that's why y'all need to go check out my video that I did on Monday. I did the playoff projection. I was salty I couldn't get SEC Sean on there. I liked it your bracket too, SEC Sean. That was solid, and I try to explain them kind of what your thought process is because we got 2 different thought processes when we drop them brackets, but neither one of us is wrong. It's just how we thinking of it. You know what I mean? So, but go check that out. And I think Notre Dame is a wild card, man. I said that on Monday. They're a wild card because if they win out, they're snatching a bid from either the Big Ten or the SEC. It just is what it is. Right now, I got 5 SEC teams positioned into the bracket right now. And I think if Michigan win this week, I think they win out. And even if they lose against Ohio State, I think they're in. So that'll be a 4th team from the Big Ten. So they're going to steal I think at that point they're going to steal a bid from the Big 12. If they win out. So it's so many different multiple ways this can go out. And I don't think they want to let 5 teams from one conference in. But like I said, that's why Notre Dame is the wild card because 5 teams can get in from one conference. It just what's going to happen with Notre Dame? That's it.
Yeah, I just looked at it. Notre Dame is in. I don't see nobody beating them on that schedule. I don't see nobody beating them. They got USC at the crib. They got Pittsburgh, which might be a pretty decent contest. That I don't see nobody in their way. So NC State is going to be a good game this week, but they got NC State, I believe, at the crib. So I don't. Just from what I've seen, I don't see anybody beating them. The way they're playing right now, I don't see any of them teams beating them because none of those teams is a Texas A&M. None of those teams is a Miami. I don't see it happening. Yeah, I feel you said don't sleep on Syracuse, but listen, after Syracuse beat Clemson, they've been trash.
Yeah, they lost their quarterback, so I
Yeah.
don't think Syracuse could pose much of a threat. Can Notre Dame make the playoffs? I'm gonna say yes, but I disagree with the homie Zay. I don't think we control our own destiny. I think if we wanted to control our own destiny, we would have beat either Miami or Texas A&M, and that makes it a lot easier. The thing about Notre Dame, they're already in the playoffs because they have to win every game now. So they have to treat it like they're in the playoffs already. Uh, a lot of people say their remaining schedule is easy. Cool. Pittsburgh always plays us tough. NC State has one hell of a quarterback. Navy always difficult to deal with that run game. So Notre Dame just has to stand on business and take it a game at a time. Marcus Freeman has been in his bag like he was during the playoff run. And again, just take it a game at a time. I don't think if they go 10-2, it's a guarantee. I think would I lean towards them getting in if they were 10-2? Yes, because it's Notre Dame. But you get to a situation where you decide between Notre Dame, Michigan, maybe a Mississippi, or whoever. It's gonna be tough but those 2 losses, I hate to say good losses, but you lose to the number 2 team in the country or number 3 team in the country in Miami by a couple points, by 3 points, and you lose to Texas A&M, who I think is a top 4 team in the country by 1 point. So we'll see what happens. Only thing Notre Dame can do is win, take it week by week, win every game. That's it.
Hey, let me ask you this, Post. Um, would your viewpoint change if I could tell you that at the end of the season, Texas A&M was in the SEC championship and Miami ran the table?
That's what I'm hoping and praying for, man. I listen. I hope Miami wins the ACC, and I hope Texas A&M wins the SEC, and I hope we see both in the playoffs.
You want your get back?
Let
Hey,
me ask y'all this, man. Oh, go ahead, Zay.
I do want to say this though, man. I love Marcus Freeman, man. You know he's a Buckeye for real. In heart, he's a Buckeye. In 2022, he lost to Marshall, bro. He finds a way sometimes to lose certain games, and this is what scares me, is that post game just confirmed Navy is a tough game. Pitt always play them tough, and NC State got Bailey. These are some tough games coming up, but you want to be battle tested going in anyway.
But you got USC too, who always that's that rival too.
Yeah, that's a rivalry game.
But I mean, it's a rival. USC, they should beat USC.
Yeah,
but it's a rival.
Yeah. That's a rivalry game. I'm not counting that. I'm not counting no chickens before they hatch. USC, listen, you can say what you want about the remaining schedule. USC, like I said, Navy, Pittsburgh, NC State, not gonna be easy. But according to my man, what's my man, the analyst?
What show is he on?
Joe Clapp.
Joe Clapp
thinks CJ Carr is the top 3 quarterback in the country.
That's big time.
But we'll see what happens. Go ahead, Rob.
Do y'all think a 2-loss Notre Dame team at the end of the season is ranked higher than a 2-loss SEC or 2-loss ACC or 2-loss Big Ten team, a team that is in a conference, like in the Power 4 conference? Do you think they would be ranked higher than them if they got 2 losses?
Yeah, because look how it's trending now. Notre Dame is all the way up to 16. So I think that's signaling. Listen, if you listen to the media really likes Notre Dame. I heard some of them call them a real top 5 team. I don't know if I agree with that yet, but the media has been favorable to Notre Dame, and if they're 16 now and they keep winning, they'll be ranked higher.
I think it depends on the team. I mean, a 2-loss Texas A&M team, how are you going to put Notre Dame ahead of them?
I don't think A&M going to.
But I'm just saying, I don't hope they don't either. But if they do lose 2 games, you can't put Notre Dame ahead of A&M, can you? You can't put them ahead of a 2-loss. If Miami loses 2 games, you can't put them ahead of Miami. But a 2-loss Texas team, yeah, for sure.
So I think we're forgetting about a fundamental fact right now, though. I think that when you talking about 2 losses and you talking about teams that played 12 games, now you got to bring in what is the final resume. What wins will they have that's going to look better than a 2-loss SEC team? And they got all these teams ranked in the top 25. So I mean, maybe a Big Ten team, they'll rank them over a Big Ten team, especially if it's like Indiana or something. Indiana loses to Oregon. You know what I mean? I forget who else Indiana play right now. It's not coming to my mind. But if Indiana end up with 2 losses and you got Indiana and Notre Dame, and that's the comp, and then you got the ACC and then the Big 12, maybe not even the Big 12 too, because the way I look at it is the Big 12 might have an undefeated champ. So not the Big 12 either, and they could possibly only have 1 team. So I think it's somewhere more of it in the middle than just completely over, you know what I mean, or under, because there's no way in hell do I feel like SEC is the most biased conference in the country, and they got a two loss team, and then you gonna size them up with Notre Dame, because it's gonna be a couple 2-loss SEC teams, maybe even 1-3. So there is no way in hell do I feel like they're gonna put Notre Dame higher than that. In the rankings is one thing, but in the mind of a playoff committee personnel, they're gonna sit them resumes down, bro, and they're gonna look at it. And one team is gonna have 3 or 4 ranked games that they play, and they might be 3-1, and then they might have lost to another team though that was in the rankings, and they might have fell out. So that's 5 ranked opponents, So I just don't see it. I don't see it at all.
I mean, it also depends, because one thing for sure, we can say that the committee gonna look at X, Y, and Z. We don't know what they're gonna look at. We don't know what they're gonna favor. None of us gonna be in that room. We don't know, bro. It happens all the time where we say, "Oh, why this team got in before this team? They did X, Y, Z." We don't know what the committee gonna favor over what. Am I
Well,
right or wrong?
they
I
gave
mean,
us
to me, they gave us the information this year. So I'm thinking like y'all talking about strength of schedule is going to be prevalent this year. Y'all told us that. So this is what I'm banking on. I know we can't believe, like Poe say, a pair of lips to say anything. We can't just believe what they say because we've seen other things happen previously. But I'm just going off of what they told us. Strength of schedule is supposed to matter. And if you telling me Notre Dame came into the year, they played 2 teams that finished in the top 10, and then they beat everybody else, a USC team that's struggling to stay in the top 25, and then they beat NC State, Navy, Pitt, all teams that I don't think is top 25 teams, and then you compare them to a 10-2 SEC team who played 7 teams, maybe 6 teams, somewhere in that range, top 20, and they ended up with 2 losses. I mean, listen, I'm just going off of what they told us. You know what I mean? That's all I'm going off.
What
Now the
what
Big
SEC
Ten. Go ahead.
what SEC team are you referring to?
The majority of them, because it's 10 of them in the rankings. The majority of them. It don't even matter how the cake is sliced when it comes to the SEC. Eventually, I feel like you still gonna see the same results. At the end of the year, you're still gonna see 9 or 10 teams ranked from the SEC because that is the bias of the SEC.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see.
I think the committee gave us a little glimpse into how they feel about Notre Dame from last year as well. Because if Notre Dame had lost another game and would have been 10-2, they
Yeah,
were not getting in the playoffs. And at 11-1, where did they go in the seasons at? Were they what, 8 or 9 or 7?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But
So go ahead.
go ahead, Rob. No,
So
I was
there.
just gonna say, and that's a good point. But the thing is that Northern Illinois' loss was so bad that there was no way Notre Dame would get into the playoffs with 2 losses. Now, 2 losses compared to this year to last, totally different. Because guess what? I bet you the committee asked themselves, if Notre Dame plays Texas A&M and Miami, would the results be different? They played them now, but we'll see, fellas. It's
I believe
always
that too. That that
it's
that now that's true. I definitely believe that too because I'm sorry to cut you off too, Post. Teams get better week by week by week by week. You are not the same team you are in week 2 that you are in week 10. So that can definitely be true.
Well, let's just hope that Texas is better going forward. So when they get to week 14 and they meet my man SEC Sean's Texas A&M Aggies, we clicking on all cylinders because it's going to take a whole hell of a lot to probably beat that man for sure. Y'all want to tackle this NFL question or put it on another stream and just go into SEC Sean's SEC power rankings?
I think we should
what
put it on another stream. Because SEC Sean, maybe we need to send him the article too. I think I want to get his opinion on it, and I think he need to study that video a little bit. maybe read into it. So we could put it on the string. Let me get the thing up
Hold
here.
on.
Go
Before
ahead.
y'all do that, I agree. We could put it on another screen, but you still gotta ask our top 4 seeds.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
All right. So, what teams do y'all see landing in the top 4 spots in the college football playoffs?
Come on, post Gary. Come on, baby. Hey.
Uh, I'm gonna say I think Texas A&M currently is going to win the SEC. I don't think Mississippi will get it done. They'll be close, but I think Texas A&M has shown different ways to win. I love Oregon, and I love their quarterback. I talked about him during the preseason and in the summer leading to the season. Dante Moore, Midwest kid. He was silently committed to Notre Dame, but his father X'd that out, looking for some dollars. I love Miami. They got some explosive players, a veteran quarterback, great offensive line. And I just think Ohio State right now has the deepest bag in the country. They sort of like Kobe right now, the deepest bag. So those are my top 4 teams currently.
Interesting.
One of y'all SEC guys got to go. We ain't letting y'all go last, man. Absolutely not.
I'll go. I'll go real quick. I think for sure. I think it's going to be Ohio State's going to be one. I think Alabama is probably going to be the other team out of the SEC that's going to get a spot. Miami being the other one. And I really do believe they're going to reward Texas Tech if they go undefeated and win the Big 12 championship game. Those would be my 4. All conference champions.
Hey, Poe, you hear no? He said you gonna have to pay me some money, basically. That's what he said. I want them in all ones. Yeah, you want yours in all one? I want mine. Man, I go to I got Ohio State, Miami, 1-2. I think the winner of the Oregon Indiana game will get the third seed in Texas Tech. Yeah, if they go undefeated, which I think they will, I don't see how you leave that undefeated team, and I think they're going to handily win their games too. So I just don't see how you don't get them a bye.
That's pretty interesting. You don't even have the SEC champion in the top 4.
Nah, they're going to beat up on each other. It might be a 2-loss SEC champion.
I got Ohio State 1, Miami 2. I think Tech goes undefeated. I think Tech gets the 3 seed. And then I think your SEC champion, and I think it's probably going to be Alabama gets the 4. Especially if it's Alabama because of the SEC bias.
So y'all got Tech jumping Oregon.
I said 4, and I said whoever win the Oregon Indiana game. But
I think if Oregon loses to Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game and Tech is undefeated even in a weaker conference, I think the committee is going to reward that conference championship being undefeated.
Okay.
Yeah, only if they're undefeated and they win their conference championship.
That's the only way.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, for sure.
All right, let me get this. Y'all ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
All right, let me get this up. Bam! Ain't that what Stephen A. Smith say?
Oh, that looks good. Say you did that?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Real WTP.
I'm gonna start have to let you quit letting you slide on some stuff, man. You know a little bit more than you telling us.
Man, come on, man. I'll be all in Canva. This is all Canva work.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, this is last week though for y'all. SEC Sean's power rankings from last week. You can see not too much change at the top. There's a whole lot of movement everywhere else though, for real. SEC Sean, go ahead and talk about your list.
Well, you can't see 16 on your list, but that's fine.
Oh, now you can see it. Hold up. There you go.
Yeah, I like the last week. This week, flipped Kentucky back to the bottom. Arkansas got the benefit because they didn't play. Kentucky they looked so bad. Those two will probably flip flop. If somebody's on a bye and somebody loses, those will be your two bottom seeds probably for the rest of the year, unless Arkansas like beats Tennessee or something. Mississippi State I was giving them their props, letting them stay up there, but that team is so injured right now that they're going to struggle to win the game. Lost their running back, down 2 tackles, down their best safety. They just don't have the depth. They were a good feel-good story to start the season, but now they're back, as Zay likes to say, where they belong. South Carolina, just South Carolina. I mean, that's South Carolina is a big wild card in the SEC because if Lenore Sellers goes off, they can play with everybody. But if he's off for that defense, they're going to get blown out by everybody. So that's why I've got them at my bottom 4. Vandy, another one of those feel-good stories, but ran into Alabama, and I think Alabama exposed Vandy, put some pressure on them, and Pavia is going to make mistakes. So I dropped them down. Auburn, move them up. I think Auburn's defense is really, really good. I want to see if they can fix their offense. So I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt with moving them up ahead of Vandy. See where we at. Texas. Texas just looks lost. I know it was on the road. I know it was and it was a 1-score game, but it wasn't a 1-score game. We all know that.
Right.
That was a 2.5. That was a 14, 17-point lead most of the way for Florida. Which is why they're ahead of Texas now. Move them up to 9th. We're going to see. Is this Dallas Wilson kid the answer Florida was looking for that offense? Or did Florida come out at home, put their back against the wall with Napier, and fight like dogs? We'll see. We'll find out this weekend. I mean, if they play like that, Florida can probably beat A&M. The only, but which Florida team are you going to get? LSU's ahead of Florida because they beat them. Not impressed with LSU either. Like their defense is pretty good. Their offense is garbage. Tennessee, same difference. Tennessee struggled with a Mississippi State team. Granted, it was on the road. Mississippi State was a little healthier going into that game than they are now. Tennessee can score. They can score with anybody. Not sure they can stop anybody. They can score. I've seen projections for Tennessee, Arkansas this week where it's 44-33. Missouri, not trusting. Don't trust Missouri at all. Played nobody. Played absolutely nobody. Running back looks good. Running game, they're physical. They are a physical SEC team. Play somebody. They got Bama this week. We'll know. Beat Bama, I'll give you the respect you deserve. Lose to Bama, you're a typical Missouri fall apart, just like last year. Number 10 in the nation, roll into Kyle Field and get beat 41-10 by a not good Aggie team last year. Georgia, about middle of the road right now. They've lost. They beat Tennessee, lost to Bama. Not completely sold on Georgia's offense either with Stockton. I think he's hot and cold, which a lot of quarterbacks in college are. Like their run game. But they're just there. OU, I dropped OU 2 spots. I know they beat Kent State, but it's Kent State. Let's be realistic here. They got a good defense. Need to see what they can do when healthy. I just think right now, even when healthy with Mateer, I don't think they're better than the three teams in front of them. They still can't run the ball, and they still have serious offensive line issues. A&M 3 still haven't put a full game together yet. Defenses looked good the last couple of weeks. Defenses look really good. I mean, we've held the last two SEC opponents to 1 for 23 on third down. That's an insane stat. If the offense can put a full game together, look out. That'll be a very scary team if they can put a full 4 quarters together. But the running game's coming on. Ran for 300 yards. Yes, it was Mississippi State, but still, 300 yards rushing in any college football game is pretty impressive. Bama, I think Bama's back. I just think Bama's Bama. Ty Simpson looks legit. They handled business with Vandy. They had the slip up against Florida State. I mean, first game of the year. The old adage, better to lose early than late. So,
Thanks.
And we had the discussion, I think all of us had it with, I told y'all that last year when Ohio State lost to Michigan, they don't win the national title without that loss to Michigan. Bama, I think that loss pulled Bama, and all them kids realized, oh, we don't win the game because we're Bama. We actually have to play. We thought they were going to lay down for us. Ole Miss number 1. Undefeated. 3-0 in the conference. Off last week. Why move them? You know?
Let me ask you this, SEC Sean. Do you think that Ole Miss team, even though I know you got to put them at 1 because they're undefeated in the conference, they're undefeated, period. Do you think that Ole Miss team is the best team in the SEC?
Right now, yeah. Right now. They haven't proven anything wrong. They're doing it with a backup quarterback from a Division II school. And they beat an LSU team who everybody will tell you has a pretty good defense. To me, right now, again, power rankings this week, they're number 1 because you putting up the numbers and doing everything you're doing, again, with a Division II from Ferris State. Do you know where Ferris State is? Does anybody?
I heard of it before. I do not know
Michigan.
where it's at, though.
It's in Michigan.
So, okay.
But you don't even know where it is, and this kid transfers and becomes the starter at Ole Miss in the SEC and is just putting up stuff. To me, you leave them number 1 until they don't deserve it. And right now, in my mind, they are the best team in the SEC.
Let me ask you a question real quick, Sean.
Yeah, always.
Is there any team ranked below 4 who you think can make a push and end up in the top 3 come season end?
Georgia.
So the 5 team. The 5.
LSU. What they've got left on their schedule, they still got A&M. I believe LSU has Bama left. If they can win out, LSU. You want a sleeper team that could sneak up and surprise everybody and get up into the top 3? Florida. If that offense plays like it can, and those kids play like that, and then with that defense, Florida could fly up this ranking. There's a chance Florida could just stun everybody and run the table.
Hey, can I play devil's advocate? Man, I'm itching at the chops over here. I gotta play devil's advocate. Y'all know hey, listen, it's FanDuel Zaya. FanDuel Zaya has to play devil advocate, man. I got to, bro.
You gotta play Angels advocate, bro.
Angel, you right. It is spooky season. I was trying to keep, you know what I mean? But you right, man. Damn. I'm sorry, Lord. Hey, listen. From 8 to 16, I see super flawed teams. Literally flawed, all the way down the board. I see a number 16 that ain't played nobody. I see a number 14 that don't got a running game. Listen, when I look at it and listen, I wish T1 was here because T1, y'all know he could go all day. T1 will have a field day with this. I'm seeing flawed after flawed after flawed after flawed team, dog. I really am, and I'm so happy we got this SEC Sean segment because now you can see it on the screen. These are flawed teams, and these is the dudes that we giving the bias to. Yeah, they beat up on each other. Yeah, they got NFL talent. Man, these teams are flawed, man. Every one that I'm looking at, it's like out of the 16, it's like 11 or 12 flawed teams that I'm looking at. And
there's more than that. There's more than that. Every team on this list.
Well, most teams have a
every
flaw.
Team is flawed because I could nitpick Ohio State.
I'm about to say every team has a flaw, but when I'm talking about flawed, I'm talking about styles make fights. Post game, love to say that. Styles make fights, and I think that's a lot of the reason why the SEC beat up on each other because you're seeing a lot of different teams on this list. They play different ways, and whoever style can win, boom, that's what happens. You feel me? And I think that's the fundamental difference between the Big Ten and the SEC because a lot of the Big Ten teams, they play like each other. You know, it's a different style of football. That's why when you get to the playoffs and stuff and you see the Big Ten going up against the SEC, that's why I think we're the king because a lot of these teams don't move how we move. I'm looking at Tennessee with the offense. They like to use the whole field in the hashes. I'm looking at a Florida team who ain't got a running game. The quarterback is super erratic. I'm looking at LSU team can't get no offense. I'm looking at Auburn team that can't throw the ball at all. Listen, I can keep going down the list and naming teams, and I can tell you exactly what their flaw is. And if you got a more well-balanced team, all these teams can be had. And last thing before I cut it off, I'm playing Angels advocate. I think Bama is the best team in this conference. I think Texas A&M is a close second at this point, but this is a power ranking, and I do believe Ole Miss should have been left one.
Man, I'm gonna tell you this right now, FanDuel.
What up?
You can take everybody from Tennessee on down and match them up with them same Big Ten teams at that same ranking, and every last one of those SEC teams will beat that Big Ten team that's ranked right where they are right now.
Maybe we need to do a segment.
Yeah, we need to do a segment like we did last year.
I missed part of that. I'm sorry, I missed part of that. A segment on what?
We matched up the top Big Ten. We did.
Oh,
we ranked all the Big Ten teams, all the SEC teams, and matched them up and decided who would win this matchup. And I think it was real close. It was 16 games. It might have been 9-7, 9-7. I think it was.
Yeah, that was a fun show. Hey, maybe after conference championship week, that's something we could do to kill a couple shows. You know what I mean? Throw a couple stones out there. You know what I mean? Because by then we don't have to rank the teams on our own. We could just rank them how they ranked.
Right.
This is what Big Ten fans always want to throw out there. The bowl season tells a different. This tells a different. Bowl season don't mean diddly squat anymore if you don't make the college football playoff, bro. It don't mean nothing.
Yeah, too many players skip out on bowl season now if it's not in the playoffs.
Hey,
and even the ones who play in it, they ain't playing hard.
That's up to y'all. I mean, it's fine.
Let me ask y'all.
Except for Big Ten players because they got something to prove because of the SEC bias.
Yeah, I should know something tomorrow because tomorrow will be 48 hours. So they should.
Hey, let me ask y'all a fun question though. I feel like this is a fun question.
48 hours, but they also have to wait for the hospice.
these teams that we're seeing on the list, we talking about Texas at 10, Auburn at 11. Auburn got a championship in the last 25 years, so we can't just disrespect them. I don't feel like.
So is Texas.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm saying that's why I said Texas is at 10. I'm saying Auburn, Texas is a powerhouse. You get what I'm saying? Auburn is at 11. We can't disrespect them because they got a championship in the last 25 years. But I think Auburn is a bottom feeder. Just go look at their history in the last 25 years. I still think they're a bottom feeder. Even with that championship. But what would the conference look like if they extended the conference to 20 to 24 teams and made it a super conference like no one? And would it get tougher or would it get worse though? I mean, I know it depends on the programs, but I kind of like what the SEC got going on because I don't think they should go into any season and just have a Bama like that just completely better than everybody. I think the conference is in much better shape with having this much parity in the league.
Right. When you've got a Texas, a brand, as much as I hate to say it, one of the most iconic brands in all of college athletics, at 10 in your conference, that'd be the equivalent of Michigan or Ohio State at 10 on this list.
Right.
Does it make the SEC better? Yes. Does it hurt? I mean, yeah. I mean, your margin for error if you lose a game or two early is gone, like Texas's is gone. You have no margin for error, another loss, and you're pretty much done. But I think it positions the SEC better in the playoffs now with more of you have to be more physical to survive the gauntlet. Strength and conditioning coaches are hugely important in a gauntlet like that. And that's the difference I see with this A&M team is we've got that strength and conditioning coach who came from LSU when they were winning titles. And now A&M plays 4 quarters where it used to be in the third and fourth quarter, A&M was known to just fall apart, not be able to keep up with the physical demands, and now they can. So I think, anytime you've got Texas 10 and Auburn 11 in your conference rankings, I think it shows your depth of conference, but I think it's good because it makes you play every week. You don't get that, as bad as it is, you don't get a Rutgers week. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you do because you got Kentucky and Arkansas, but the majority of your schedule you're getting, we've got A&M's got Florida this week. Then we get a Rutgers. We go to Arkansas. Then we go to we go to LSU. Then we get South Carolina at home. And then we go to Texas. And I get South Carolina's down and whatever, but you can't lose focus any given week because any of those teams from 11 up can jump in, and probably even Vandy, if you give them a chance, could jump in and just bite you. So to me, it makes the SEC better when it has that. I like the number 16. I don't want to see the SEC go to 20 or 24 teams. I think it'll dilute the conference. You're going to miss some of these matchups, and I just don't like it. I mean, would you like the Big Ten to go to 24 if you're adding teams like Kentucky and Arkansas
Not
and
at all.
Kansas State, Kansas? I mean, you don't want to add those. Now, if you're going to give me, it looks bad this year, but if you're going to give me a Clemson or a Florida State or Miami, okay, now we can start talking about getting a few more teams in here. But I don't want you to bring in Syracuse, University of Houston. I don't want you to University of Texas, El Paso. I don't want them in the SEC. Tulane. I don't want that. Give me, if you're going to go to 20 or 24, give me bigger teams.
Yeah, if they were to do that, they're going to go get North Carolina's going to be one of the teams they're going to go get for basketball reasons. They're going to go get Kansas for basketball reasons, which in football it's going to water it down a little bit. But as far as those brands, they're going to want those brands for basketball to keep them relevant. I don't think they're going to go after as many big wigs as people would think, like the Miamis, the Florida State. Those teams just doesn't fit in the SEC in the right manner because Florida is there. Then you got South Carolina there. I don't think they're looking at those teams. They're going to be looking at the North Carolinas, the Kansas, teams like that that can fit into their mold a little bit better for basketball and stuff like that. Those schools need to go on and play in the Big Ten, the Miamis and the Florida States of the world, and maybe even Clemson too. Clemson might make a case of getting the SEC though, because South Carolina is they like this. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Ohio State will completely block Miami and Florida State both getting into the conference. We will completely do that. It's not even possible.
Like Michigan did Notre Dame?
Probably so, because we recruit Florida too hard.
Yeah.
We we'd be like, we better off going to the SEC anyway.
Well, that's why A&M tried to block Texas from coming to the SEC. Because we had the only Texas school in the SEC. You don't think we dominated that recruiting trail in Texas?
Listen, say that again, SEC, Sean. Say that one more time.
Everybody already knew that.
Say that one more time, SEC, Sean.
Oh yeah, everybody knows A&M in Missouri tried to block Texas from coming to the SEC.
Not this dude right here.
John, no, listen. No, he really said that because he thought it was going to give you strep throat.
Mm-mm.
You know what I'm saying?
It's the truth. I knew it. I knew it 100%.
Didn't we talk about
and
that?
I don't blame them because
I know that though. I've been knew that.
We had the state of Texas on lockdown with recruiting being the only SEC
exactly
school there.
Exactly. I knew that. I never disputed when you said that. Like, you're not supposed to do that as a conference, especially if you like a legacy team. You know what I mean? If you're a legacy team, you're supposed to fight your conference. Like, why would they ever even let Texas come? That's going to block everything that Texas A&M tried to build up in the first place. I wouldn't have never did that. And if I was Texas A&M for real, I would have probably left the conference after that. I was still thinking about leaving the conference.
Everybody says they're going to go to the Big Ten. A&M.
Yeah, I wouldn't listen. Come on to the Big Ten because that's the winner side anyway. We want something in Texas. I'm telling you, we want something in Texas. But one thing is, Ohio State recruit Texas, but it's so many players in high school football in Texas. We wouldn't even feel like we fighting y'all for them players. You can't let two teams though that's big time programs from the same state. Nah, not at all. But we don't care about Indiana. That's why we want to let post game in. You feel me? We want to let post game in because we don't even really care. Indiana, just because they had one good year, we don't care. They've been a bottom feeder. We do not care. We rather have Notre Dame. We rather have them 24 karat gold helmets. You know what I mean?
Y'all heard it here. He just said Indiana was a bottom feeder.
That is. I mean, they was a bottom feeder, but Kurt Sanetti, I want to drink a beer with you. Holler at me. I want to bring you on WTP Sports Dudes. He done changed the whole script up on them. Hey, so, just like that.
Vandy was a bottom feeder?
Vandy is a bottom feeder.
But yeah, right now they're not.
That is very true.
They're the Indiana of the
it's
SEC.
It's because of a player. It's not because of a coach.
I don't know. Clark Lee's pretty good.
Man, it's because of Pavia. He went 5-7 twice in the last 3 years. What are we talking about? No, 2-10. I'm sorry. He went 2-10 twice, or maybe 2-10 and 5-7, one of each in the last 3 years. Yeah, 4 years. Go look it up.
Oh, I know.
They're a bottom feeder.
But what I'm saying is, right now, they're the version of Indiana in the SEC.
No, it ain't because Indiana went 10-2.
4 years ago, Kentucky was 10-2.
It's different levels.
Stoops got that extension. That's when Stoops got that big, huge extension.
It's different levels, Sean. They made it to the playoffs, man.
That's what I'm saying.
Vandy didn't make it to the playoffs. Their best year was still 7-6.
Right. But I'm saying you said Indiana was a bottom feeder.
Yeah, it was.
And then you said, but right now they're not. And I said, Vandy is the version because they were at Vandy went like 3 years without a conference
I
win.
get what you're saying.
But now look at them. You see what I'm saying? Any team can catch fire for a year or two. It's can you sustain it?
Yeah, Vandy never caught fire
Ohio
though.
State,
They just
can
beat
you-
Bama last year.
Right. Can you beat? Can you sustain it? Is when you separate the
I got
teams.
you. Yeah, 7-6 is not catching fire to me by any means. But let post game get his thoughts in, man.
At Vanderbilt, it is.
That's why I thought, hey, listen, I thought Pavi, if he won this past weekend, I was like, he gonna get a statue.
No, I don't got nothing to add. I'm just listening to y'all. This is entertaining. The one thing I do notice is that this podcast has some SEC bias?
Without a doubt. Man, do you realize what I had to go through in that chat with this dude right here and T1? Man,
Oh my
listen.
God. We know this podcast is SEC bias. Hey, listen. Hey, post game, I promise you, I'll be thinking about this all the time. I'll be like, bro, we're not gonna one up nobody until you come to the Big Ten. It's gonna be an SEC podcast full-fledged until it's like 4-2 or some stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be what it is. It's just saying facts.
I'm going to admit I am very biased towards my SEC, but I also give respect where it's due.
Hey, listen, I want to just say, Rob, you did the same thing with Sean that Poe did with Heron. You rolled past him and you threw your business card in his window. God damn it!
No.
Yeah, you did.
No, wait a minute. Here you got a Texas fan. He's a Texas A&M fan.
It don't matter.
My card in his car.
It don't matter.
We met SEC Shine through Mossburg.
Man,
At
no, you
Waffle
threw.
House, I guess. Yeah, that's how we met.
You threw the card in the window. I'm already convinced. I don't care.
Listen. I probably would. I run into Texas A&M fans all the time in airports and stuff. All the time. I run into Texas fans and I run into Texas A&M fans all the time when I go in the airport. All the time. They don't say nothing to me when they see me with my Texas stuff on, and I don't say nothing to them when I see them with their Texas A&M stuff on.
Hey, Paul, where you at? A pair of lips to say anything.
Hey, shout out to the homie Mossberg, man. I'm sure when he met SEC Sean, he mentioned Doak Campbell at least 5 times.
Hey man,
no, he didn't. He was a Michigan fan at that point.
Can Mossberg really cook?
You asking me?
Yeah, man, I'm asking you.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
It's pretty good. Okay.
Not gonna lie.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie on that one.
Man, we know Moss can burn, man. We know.
I believe he can. I mean, I don't eat meat, so I don't know what he can do.
Yeah, he did pretty good. I ain't gonna lie. So yeah. I don't know. Y'all.
All right, so if y'all ain't got nothing else, man, we can go ahead and wrap it up, man, and get ready for tomorrow's show. I think Mossberg has an interview tomorrow with a young lady tomorrow at 12 noon about her crack career, and then later on in the evening at 7. Well, whatever time FanDuel's A&M decide to do it, they're gonna do Parlay Po with the bread. FanDuel Zaya covers the spread. So hopefully you can check them out too. But you'll see all of that posted up. So make sure that you hit that bell so that you get notifications whenever we're going to go live. Hit the bell on every single one of our channels so that way we can get you in there. And we also got to update our system so that we can get Sean's channel on here as well. So
right, he's scrolling at the bottom. He in there.
Oh, he in there? Okay. I want to get into when he's up here where we can where our videos will go straight to his channel as well. So
yeah, but he at the bottom for sure until we can update that. Y'all see him down there at the bottom, man, too.
Right, that's the SEC. See, now y'all are SEC biased. Y'all against it. Y'all put me at the last.
You the last one in. How's that biased?
I guess that's true.
Hey, really, we was doing it by the numbers for real. I kind of messed up. JoJo ain't even supposed to be there. I'm the youngest. I'm supposed to be at the bottom. We know I'm Angel's advocate anyway. Really, I probably should be first. Just saying.
Well, I mean, you control all that stuff, so I'm surprised you're not first.
Oh, I'm solid though. I ain't gonna never play with it.
Yeah, for sure. All right, y'all. Well, y'all have a good rest of y'all's evening, man. And hopefully we can get back in here on Thursday night at 7:45. But make sure you click that bell so that you get the notifications for tomorrow's videos and then what we do on Thursday. And hopefully we can go ahead and get that Friday slate together. But we'll see you again. So make sure that you tune in. All right, y'all. Have a good one.
All right, y'all be good.
Peace.